All right, so we can't drill, and we have more energy than the entire Middle East combined because he reduced leases 50%. Then government subsidies creates a disincentive for hiring to the tune of 2.3 million new jobs. And the new report by the CBO today, minimum wage, government policy, another 500,000 jobs are going to be lost to Roy. Yeah. Maybe you're right. Maybe are we in decline? Is this country declining?
I think when I wrote this article, I sat down and came up with one example after another of decline, and I just got sort of increasingly depressed as I wrote this article, but I found lots and lots of evidence of all the ways that we're sliding downward. I mean, we're now number 12 in the world for economic growth. I mean, we used to be in the top 3, we see things just slowing down, and it's so, as you say, completely unnecessary. We right now have the #1 corporate tax in the world, 35%. If we were to cut our corporate tax to 25% so we'd compete with the rest of the world, a lot of companies that pack up and leave the United States would stay here. We eliminated the corporate tax, money would pour into this country. So I watched this clip, and it looked like a campaign ad for Obama 08 or something like that. This is very sad, very tragic.
Both Stuart and Dana are very good friends of mine, and both ganged up on me last week, so I had to bring you in for well, because I'm mad at the Republicans. I want to read DeRoy's last paragraph. He said, the American people have been betrayed both by Obama, the Democrats, whose lust for control intensifies every day, and Republican leaders whose cowardice and defeatism has turned their guts and spines into tapioca. Which is great writing, by the way.
Thank you.
Great flair. I'm mad the Republicans aren't doing anything. Both of you thought I was wrong that they didn't fight on the debt ceiling.
They are doing something.
Well, help me.
What they're doing is positioning themselves to win back the Senate in 2014 so that they can take on some of these bigger issues.
So we're going to give them a blank check for a year, Dana?
The debt limit, it was always going to be raised. That is debt that we have. The bigger fight is one that you can have in the Congress. The Republicans
Could we have gotten the Keystone Pipeline in exchange?
From Obama? No, I don't think so.
Look, he needs the debt increase more than the Republicans.
This is very important. Look, what I would have done is I would have added one amendment, which just said that the bailout, $47 billion bailout of the health insurance companies would be taken out, and in exchange for that, we could increase the debt limit. Now, maybe Obama signs it, maybe he doesn't, but let's at least make the Democrats vote on this. And if the Democrats want to stand in front of the American public and say, we don't want to raise the debt limit until we have $47 billion taxpayer dollars to bail health insurance,
all I want to do is
make that argument.
We're in a rotten place right now.
So don't fight now.
No,
we'll fight later.
Wait a minute. We're in a rotten place right now. I want to win politically, but politics is the only way you're going to change
So that means
America.
don't wait. So listen, maybe you're right and I'm wrong. I'm not saying I have all the answers, but I want an inspiring Republican Party that offers bold colored differences, and I'm not seeing that.
If you lose Senate seats in Kentucky, and maybe pick another one, if you think you can win Arkansas, but you end up not winning it, and you don't have a chance of the Republicans taking back the Senate. What that vote did was actually put further pressure on Mitch McConnell unnecessarily. We're spending money to defend Mitch McConnell in Kentucky when we should be spending that money in red states that we could win.
Look, ultimately, it may turn out that Harry Reid says, look, we got to vote this way, and maybe in the end the Republicans have to cave in. But for God's sake, 2 or 3 days they can stand up, argue this, make the point, educate people, energize the base, and maybe at the end they can't
But just 2 weeks
push it through across the finish
people
line, but
on
at least they
the
educate
far right,
people.
the pundits were saying, even actually the liberal pundits were saying, this is not the time to do immigration. Republicans should focus like a laser beam on Obamacare. As soon as they make the decision to do that, then they're ridiculed again the following week by their friends.
Let me ask this question. Is part of the problem the American people? I'm watching Jimmy Kimmel the other night, and a Kimmel producer goes on the streets to find out what people think of President FDR's recent death. Watch this.
President Roosevelt died this morning. Do you have anything to say to his widow, Eleanor?
Oh, wow. Truly sorry for your loss. That's a great book for the histories right there.
Which achievement do you think he'll be remembered for the most? The Louisiana Purchase or the Sacagawea dollar?
The Louisiana Purchase.
Did you follow his account on Twitter, his little jokes?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. He's a funny guy.
Really?
Yeah. I actually have seen him now.
Oh, cool. Do you think it cheapened the Oval Office when he made that brief cameo in the movie Pearl Harbor, sort of stunt casting?
No, it might have put, more focus on Washington, D.C.
Was it weird how slapstick his role was, like falling out of the wheelchair?
No, I think that makes him look like he has a sense of humor.
You're saying you don't think it's real.
Wait a
I
minute.
do.
How many interviews did they conduct? And then they pick out the ones that suit their point.
I do it on radio.
And put them on the air.
Stuart,
That's control.
Stuart, it's not that hard to find people that don't have a clue.
You could have done that 15, 20 years ago or 40 years ago. You could have done the same thing.
People. Jay Leno did jaywalking for many years, and the same kind of thing. I think there are a lot of people in the country just oblivious. They just don't really know what their surroundings are.
What do you think, Dana?
I think that we're in a position now in our country, we're wealthy enough that people don't have to worry about certain things like that because we have grown to a point when we have a lot more to do, but we're not at each other's throats like they are in Ukraine today.
It's not the fault of the American people. It is the fault of leadership of the American people.
The American
That's
people,
the
you know how many times I've asked them who the vice president is and they don't know, Stuart?
So you're blaming America? You blame the American
I'm
people?
blaming some people. They have a civic responsibility to know who the vice president
People should have a
is.
responsibility to know what's going on in their society.
We got to break.
Leaders, please.
People
need to read and watch Dana.
You have to do a segment on the EPA regulations on coal-fired power plants because
You're right.
I agree with you.
You
promised me
Next
you will
week
do a segment
with
on
you.
that. Or, well, whenever, but that's important.